Hey guys, my name is Ryan, and welcome to Overwatch Central. Hanzo just might be the best DPS hero in the game right now. Today we're sitting down with Arrge, who is a top 500 Hanzo streamer, and has been playing the hero ever since Season 1. So here are some of his best tips in order to improve on hero. You can find more details from him in the description below, but let's get started. So, before we get started, because we haven't had you on the channel before, Arrge, why should people listen to you about Hanzo?
Well, I've been playing Hanzo since I've been playing Hanzo ever since the open beta, but I really started maining him in season 1, but it's still 2,500 hours of gameplay across many accounts and PTR.
And how many of those seasons have been GM/top 500?
Top 500 ever since season 2.
Nice, and it's worth adding that you played Hanzo for a period where he just wasn't very good, before Sonar Arrows and all that. You've been through the reins with him, I guess it would be.
Yeah, especially during the triple tank meta, there was a lot of people just stopped playing Hanzo and told me to stop playing Hanzo, but back then you still had scatter, so I had no problems playing against triple tank.
Going into sort of playing Hanzo then, where do you think he's sort of good? Why do you think people should play him more?
The obvious thing is the Sonic Arrow. That's you can just give so much information to your team and yourself, and you can even shoot it straight up so that it lands after 7 seconds, and then when it runs out you can shoot another one to get 12 seconds of Sonic up time. And then obviously Hanzo has no damage fall off. It's the most quiet, it's one of the most quiet heroes in the game. Even when you're shooting, it's really hard to pinpoint where you're shooting from unless you're using rapid fire.
Or what tips do you have for people to try and just improve their normal natural aim with this hero?
It's just you're just supposed to aim more of where the enemy will be. So you're gonna instead of aiming at your target, you're gonna aim at the corner of a cover, for example, and wait for him to start running towards that. You just really have to change your mindset from the hit scan mindset.
So you almost treat him in a weird sense, Junkrat, where you're not really aiming for a target, you just go, right, they're gonna be running on this side of Temple of Anubis as they're coming in, as they're attacking, as an example. You just know that you're going to be firing arrows into that spot where they will poke their heads through. Kind of hope that you get lucky a little bit.
Yeah, it's most of the time it's not even luck. It's more sometimes it's just gonna be impossible to know if the target is gonna go to the left cover or the right cover. But most of the time there is one clear direction where they are gonna go, and then it's just all about getting your crosshair to the perfect location, and having a low sense helps with that a lot.
I guess there's only so much that we can say about aiming. It is just practice, knowledge, experience, being able to get up to a certain point. But I think treating the aim more like a sort of spam Junkrat sort of mode, I think is a good idea for certain areas of maps at least. You mentioned how strong Sonar Arrow is. What kind of stuff do you try and do with a really strong ability, because it's, as you said, free information a lot of the time?
Well, it's constant. You constantly get value with it. For example, before the match starts, I always shoot one Sonic straight up so that it lands when the enemy team gets to the choke point. So then we know if they're gonna go for a flank or stay main. And I also have it off cooldown to shoot the second one once the old one runs out. The other thing I do is if I know that someone's going for a flank, call outs sometimes. Sometimes calling out that someone is flanking is not gonna get my teammate to do anything. So I might just shoot a Sonic to show to my team that, okay, there's a McCree crouching coming towards our backline or something like that.
I think a lot of people look at double sniper as being two assassins constantly getting headshots, constantly eliminating targets, but is that the same for Hanzo then? You're not just an assassin like Widowmaker. You were there to just put a lot of pressure on the attacking team, maybe get a pick, but to really just give as much information with the Sonar Arrow and spam certain chokes where you think they're going to come through or you kind of don't want them to go through?
Well, I'd say that's more of like there's more area denying in when you're defending. Like you don't really spam on Hanzo when you're attacking unless you're trying to win the shield war. Like if I'm defending and there's someone that's gonna try to come through a choke point, I might just spam rapid fire at head level so that he will either back off, or if he tries to peek, then he's just gonna get 2 headshots and die immediately. But like if you're attacking, you're more like you just put down the Sonic and then find a target that's like easiest to predict and then go for the shot. I almost never flanked previously, but now I'm trying to like constantly just like every time it's possible for me to go a flank, I'm gonna do it, because that way I create so much space, and even if I don't kill anyone, I force the enemy team to like focus on 2 directions at the same time, which makes it way easier for my team to stay alive and get picks, because the enemy team is so, their attention is split.
Where do you find Storm Arrow being most impactful? If you had a priority order of breaking shield, spamming a choke, trying to win a 1v1, other areas that you might use Storm Arrow, how would you prioritize using this ability for when?
Well, like I personally think the rapid fire is not as strong as people think. That like the general idea is that you just spam and get kills, but like rapid fire deals 70 damage per shot, and it will never be a one hit kill. Like you need 3 body shots to kill a 200 HP target. So I mostly use it just to spam down shields, and like let's say I spam down a shield and then there's a tank behind it, so I continue spamming the Orissa's head, for example. And then obviously on defense it can be good to just create like suppressive fire, kind of by just shooting at the flank, for example, to stop the enemy from peeking until I get healed.
I actually wanted to ask about effective range because, you know, Widowmaker always wants to stay at a certain amount of distance, as far away as physically possible, right? Hanzo's very much like a nice in between. Like, what's the optimal range for Hanzo, or do you recommend constantly trying to change it? Do you have like a certain distance that you constantly want to keep away from the enemy team?
Well, that's one of the most like intriguing parts of Hanzo for me. It's like the closer you get, the easier it is to hit shots, but at the same time, the more dangerous it is. Like you might get picked off. And long range shots are really not that hard if you're shooting at someone that doesn't know that you're shooting at them. So if there's like a Widow really far away, usually if a Widow is not getting shot, even in like top 500 ranks, she's not gonna move that much between shots, because standing still makes it easier to hit targets. So if I can get a Sonic to the Widow without her hearing the landing sound, then no matter how far away I am, it's gonna be pretty much a guaranteed headshot.
What do you feel is going to be like standout things for people? Just general tips. Some people at lower ranks play Hanzo, and I know that Hanzo players have come to you and gone, hey, I'm really struggling to climb. What's like the most common thing that you've given in terms of advice that maybe isn't so obvious for people that want to play Hanzo?
Well, this doesn't apply just to Hanzo, but like it's definitely the most common thing is that people feel like, I'm popping off, I'm getting so many kills this and this fight, and then we suddenly just lose because my team is bad. But it's more about like consistency. Like even if you get 6 kills the previous fight, and then you lose the next one because you couldn't get any kills, like it's really hard, especially during the match itself. Like a lot of people get stuck in this mentality that just because they popped off the previous fight, it makes it okay that they didn't get any kills the next one, and then they can still blame their team when they lose the fight.
How do you remain consistent playing Hanzo? Because, you know, you play him a lot of the time. I don't know if you like one-trick him as much as you used to, but there must be situations where you know that Hanzo's not working, but you can work around certain stuff. Like, what advice do you have there?
That's actually the strength of Hanzo, in my opinion. That it's like there's never really any situation where he doesn't work, as long as you just avoid all the pitfalls. Like there's just like probably 100 pitfalls that you can do. Like the biggest one that held me back at one point was how I would keep shooting at a target at medium to long range who knew that I was shooting at them. So I would like spend the whole team fight just trying to get a lucky shot instead of switching my target to someone that wasn't aware that I was shooting at them. And then after like a couple shots on the other target, or after killing the other target, I can move back to the old target, and then he's like he's moving way less and not trying to dodge my arrows that way. And this also like creates this kind of suppressive fire effect that's in Battlefield and stuff, where it's like your aim gets worse when you get shot. So like if I shoot at an enemy Ana, she's forced to start like moving and pay attention to me instead of her teammates. So I can like shoot a couple times. If I don't get that headshot, I'm gonna stop shooting at her and shoot at someone else for a couple shots while she continues being paranoid about me being about to shoot an arrow at her.
What's more important for Hanzo? Getting picks or creating pressure?
I'd say getting picks is more important on attack, and then just like pressuring and keeping the enemy team back is more important on defense. Because like a lot of people forget that the objective on defense is not to kill the enemy team. The objective on defense is to like stop them from getting the point.
What are really common mistakes you see Hanzo players making?
It's rapid fire usage. Like using rapid fire at bad times. Like even I still do it sometimes. Like the biggest mistake is you shoot one normal arrow at the target, so it deals 125 damage, and then you pop the rapid fire and start spamming the target. But it's not values in even with a fully charged normal arrow. You still need to hit 2 rapid fire shots after that, unless one of them is a headshot. So the rapid fire also makes this really loud sound that announces to everyone where you are. So then you lose one of the biggest things Hanzo has, which is like being really quiet so that people can't really pinpoint where you are at all times. When you like when you compare to like McCree, you always know where the McCree is, even if he's not shooting because the boots are so loud.
What about Dragon Strike then? What tips do you have for people trying to use this ultimate? Because I feel like people overthink it, or they just kind of go, I'm going to put it through here and I'm going to get a pick. More often than not, they don't. So what tips do you have for the ultimate?
Well, the ultimate, like especially if your aim is really good, you're going to get it in like 15 seconds. And like you said, like it's not that good even with grab combo. They can use Zen ultimate and stuff like that. But for example, you could just shoot the dragon at the enemy team to trade it with their Zenyatta ultimate. So then you can do a nano blade without any risk of it being countered. Okay, if I shoot the dragon and it doesn't kill anyone, then I just wasted my dragon and gave the enemy teams support ultimates, because they, like I shoot the dragons at tanks and take 400 HP from both of them. That means that Ana will get like 50% ultimate charge just from that. And the other problem would be like, sometimes if we use a grab, it's still not worth it to dragon it if we can kill them without using my dragon, because I'm essentially just stealing ultimate charge from my teammates. Because like they won't get as much damage in when they shoot at the graviton if I steal all the HP with my dragon.
I guess that's really at the highest tiers though, but I imagine if somebody's listening to this that's in diamond and stuff, that's still something they can try to do.
That's the thing though, it's like people think that it's only for the highest tiers, but that's how you climb to the highest tiers. Like just by not dealing any trash damage that feeds the enemy support's ultimates, like even at like, I'd say even in like gold or plat, it's gonna make a huge difference. And it's gonna make you win at least like 5 to 10% more games.
Are there any other things that you kind of want to talk about? Like, if there's going to be maybe a few more people wanting to learn Hanzo at this point, especially with roll lock maybe coming. Like, what tips do you have for people that maybe are picking him up for the first time?
Well, Hanzo is just one of those heroes that you just have to play him a lot to learn. Like, you need to build your game sense, and like you need to build this like ability to predict where the enemy team is going, because like when you're playing hit scan, it's more like you just aim at the target and click. But when you're playing Hanzo, you need to think about what your enemy team is doing and where are they gonna go in order to hit the most shots. And that's an ability that it's like impossible to teach with a guide. You just have to like play the game to grow that intuition.
Finally then, I guess, if people are looking to find a EU...
Well, I stream up to 10 hours every single day except Wednesdays on Twitch. So twitch.tv/Arrge, Arrge. And I upload some YouTube videos as well, youtube.com/Arrge.
And that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. You can check out all of Arrge's stuff in the description like he said. But thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you next time.